Questions 11 through 20 on the 2017 Grade 10 Cayley Math Contest. The figure shown is made up of 10 identical squares. If the area of the figure is 160 centimeters squared, what is the perimeter of the figure? Well, I'll call the dimensions x for each of those squares, and therefore we have x squared as the area of each, and there's 10 of them, so 10x squared is the total, and they have told us that that is equal to 160. So x squared therefore is 16, x is therefore 4. To calculate the perimeter, we have to figure out how many sides. Let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. So 22x is the perimeter. X is 4, and therefore this perimeter is equal to 88. Number 11, the answer is C. The mean of three numbers, PQR, is 9. The mean of two integers, S and T, is 14. The mean of five integers, PQR, ST, is P plus Q plus R divided by 3 is 9. So that means P plus Q plus R is 3 times 9, which is 27. S plus T divided by 2 is 14. So that means S plus T is equal to 28. Now we have to figure out the average of those five numbers, P plus Q plus R plus S plus T, divide by 5. Well, P plus Q plus R is 27, these three guys. The next two, S plus T, is 28, and all over 5. So that is 55 over 5, and that is equal to 11. So number 12, the answer is A. In the addition shown, each of x, y, and z represents a digit. What is the value of x plus y plus z? Well, let's concentrate on that column. 3z is equal to 5. Well, can't have a solution there if you want it to be an integer. But 3z, let's try 15. Well, that works. Z would be 5. So it would be 5, 5, 5 would be 15, and I've got to carry the 1. Now let's concentrate on this column. So that would mean 3y plus 1 is equal to 7. 3y is 6, y is 2. Great. And there's no carry. So it would be 2, 2, 2, 1, and there's no carry. And then this part, that column, 2x is equal to 16, and therefore x is equal to 8. So there we go. We have x, y, and z, and they want you to find x plus y plus z. That's going to be 8 plus 2 plus 5, and that is equal to 15. So number 13, the answer is B. Igor is shorter than G. Faye is taller than Goa. G is taller than Faye. Han is shorter than Goa. So that's it. Who's the tallest? Well, based on these two inequalities, G seems to be taller than everybody. So G is the tallest, and therefore number 14, the answer is E. A bag contains red, blue, and purple marbles, does not contain any other marbles. The ratio of the number of red marbles to the number of blue marbles is 4 to 7. The ratio of the number of blue marbles to the number of purple marbles is 2 to 3. There are 32 red marbles in the bag. In total, how many marbles are there in the bag? So we have red, blue, and purple. And they told me that red is 32. R over B is 4 over 7. So I can quickly calculate B. 32 over B is equal to 4 over 7. So 4B is equal to 32 times 7. B is equal to 8 times 7, which is 56. And then with the next one, B over P is equal to 2 over 3. And therefore 56 over P is equal to 2 over 3. And therefore 2p is equal to 3 times 56. And solving, we get p is equal to 84. So we've got it all. We've got B is 56, P is 84. So now how many marbles are in the bag in total? Well, we just have to add them. And when you add them, 32 plus 56 plus 84, you get 172. And therefore, number 15, the answer is E. If x plus 2y is 30, what is the value of this expression? Well, let's add it up and see what we get. And obviously, we will need a common denominator. And I believe that common denominator is probably 15. So we would get here 3x multiplied by 5, so 10y, multiplied by 3, so 6y, multiplied by 5, 5x. And this gives me 8x plus 16y over 15. Factor out an 8, get x plus 2y is 15. And then x plus 2y, they tell me is 30, so substitute that. And this is 30 divided by 15 is 2, so 2 times 8 is 16. Number 16, the answer is 16, and that would be choice B. The positive integers r and s and t have the property that r times s times t is 1230. What is the smallest possible value of r plus s plus t? Well, the approach to this question would be to break up 1230 into its prime factors, and I believe that's 2 times 3 times 5 times 41. And then from these we have to find 3 such that the sum is the smallest possible. Okay? Well, I'm going to choose 41 because I don't want to combine it with anything, because if I combine it, it would make the sum much bigger. So that's taken care of. And then from these guys, I'm going to have to make 2 numbers. And I think the smallest way to do that is 5, and then 2 times 3, which is 6. I'm confident this is the smallest way of making r plus s plus t. And that basically gives you a result of 52. So therefore, number 17, the answer is B. The number of integers for which 1 over 7 is less than or equal to 6 over n is less than or equal to 1 over 4 is 1 over 7 less than or equal to 6 over n less than or equal to 1 over 4. I'll flip them. So we got 7, and then you got to reverse the signs, n over 6, reverse the sign, 4. Multiply through by 6, and we got 42 greater than or equal to n greater than or equal to 24. So n is any number that is between 42 and 24 inclusive, and that is a total of 42 minus 23, which is 19 numbers, all those integers. So number 18, the answer is C. Two lines with slopes 1/4 and 5 over 4 intersect at 1, 1. What is the area of the triangle formed by these two lines and the vertical line x equals 5? Let's draw a basic graph and see what we get. So the first one is x equals 5, so that's easy. We'll just draw a line approximately here representing x equal to 5 on the x-axis, obviously. And then now we have to draw these lines. So the first one, the slope is 1/4, so 1/4 x plus some b. And then the second one, the slope is 5 over 4, so 5 over 4x plus some b2, we'll call it. Now both of them, 1, 1 satisfies the equation, so we can easily calculate the b1s. 1 is equal to 1/4 plus b1, so therefore b1 is equal to 3/4. And in the second one, 1, 1 satisfies the equation, so 1 is equal to 5 over 4 plus b2, so b2 is equal to minus 1/4. Yeah, all right, so we got our equations. So we can just draw a very quick plot. So our equations are y is equal to x over 4 plus 3 over 4, and y is equal to 5 over 4x minus 1 over 4. Okay, so the first one we can plot, let's say when x is 0, we get 3/4 approximately, so let's just say that's here. And when x is 1, we would get 1, and that we already know is a point. Not exactly drawn to scale, but you guys get the idea. So the first one, the first line is approximately something like this. Now we can quickly sketch the next one. When x is 1, this one right here, we get 1, 1, which is a point right here. And then let's say when x is 0, we get minus 1/4, so approximately here. So that line will look something like this. So there we go. Now we have that triangle that they want us to figure out the area of. This is the triangle. And that triangle, what we can do is we can call this the base, or we can call that the height, and we can call this the base. It doesn't really matter. But either way, area would be 1/2 base times height. So we can call this the base, and we can call this the height. Okay, well, the height is pretty straightforward. Since this was 1 and this is 5, the height is basically 5 minus 1, which is 4. So height is equal to 4. So 1/2 base times height, that's 4. And then for the base, I've got to figure out these points right here. So when x is 5, what is the y value for this graph, and what is the y value for that graph? Okay, when x is 5, this one gives me 5 over 4 plus 3 over 4, which would be 8 over 4, so y would be 2. So this point here is going to be 2 on the y-axis, this point. And then when x is 5, this graph, let's see, 5 times 5 is 25, minus 1 is 24, so y will be 24 over 4, which is 6. So this point is 6, that one right there. So 6 minus 2, which is 4, is equal to b. So that's b. So my area is going to be 1/2 4 times 4, which is 16 divided by 2, which is 8. So number 19, the answer is C. Car X and car Y are traveling in the same direction in 2 different lanes along a straight highway. Car X is traveling at a constant speed of 90, has a length of 5 meters. Car Y is traveling at a constant speed of 91 kilometers per hour, has a length of 6 meters. Car Y starts behind car X and eventually passes car X. The length of time between the instant when the front of car Y is lined up with the back of car X and the instant when the back of car Y is lined up with the front of car X is t seconds. The value of t is. Well, let's first draw a diagram to try to figure out how we're going to do this. So we've got the first lane and we've got the second lane. And we will call this the X car and the Y car. And initially what happens is the car that is designated as Y, it starts behind car X, right? And car X is 5 meters in length. So we would actually start here. Y would start here, where this distance is 5. And X would start right at the start line. So I hope that makes sense. And then they're telling me that speed is 90 kilometers per hour and this speed is 91 kilometers per hour. And then eventually they meet at a certain point. So let's just say they meet there. Now when they meet, we have to figure out where's the car. The cars are basically such that their front is right at the point where they meet. So this is 5 meters and this is 6 meters in terms of the length of the cars. Okay, so that's when they first meet. And then they keep going, and we want a scenario as follows. We want the scenario where at some point they have the following scenario, and that is that car X basically gets to that point, and of course that's a 5 meter car in terms of its length, but then car Y is ahead, like this. Exactly what they're saying. So the length of time between the instant where the front of car Y is lined up with the back of car X, so that would be basically the time right at the start, where the front of car Y is lined up with the back of car X. That's basically the start. So for X it would be here, and for Y it would be here. And then from that point, we want to go to the instant where the back of car Y is lined up with the front of car X, and that is this point. So we have to figure out the time it takes to go from here to here for car X, or from here to here for car Y. So here we go. As always, speed is equal to distance over time. Time is equal to distance over speed, or distance is equal to time multiplied by speed. So in the first scenario, which is this part of the diagram, since they meet, the amount of time that's elapsed is the same. So the time for X is the same as the time for Y. Use the D over S formula, and we can figure out the time. Now, if I'm calling this D, that distance, then that's great. But for Y, we have to add on 5 meters because Y is starting 5 meters behind. So this is going to be D plus 5 over the speed of Y. So another thing is that our speeds are in kilometers per hour, but the length of that car is given as meters. So we've got to convert that 5 meters to kilometers. So instead of 5, we actually have to divide it by 1,000. And when you do, you get 0.005. And that is divided by SY. So SX is 90. And SY, we know, is 91. So you cross multiply. So 91D is equal to 90D plus 0.45. And then therefore D is equal to 0.45, and this was in kilometers. All right, so now we have to figure out the time. Time is equal to distance over speed. So we can do it for this one. Either one would work. That one is a little bit simpler in terms of the computation. So 0.45 kilometers divided by 90, and that is 0.005. And this is in hours, so I've got to multiply this by 60 to get the number of minutes, 0.3 minutes. And then I've got to multiply by 60 again to get the number of seconds. And when I do, it's 18 seconds. All right, so we got that done. Now we got to turn our attention to the next part, which is from here to here. So that distance, again, I can call it D2. And then this distance is D2. But we've got to add 6 meters to this because we're calculating it from here to here. All right, same kind of thing. The times will be equal. So time for X is equal to the time for Y. This is X over, or sorry, I'm using D2, right? So D2 over 90. And this is D2 plus 6. But just as before, I've got to convert it to kilometers. So divided by 1,000 and over 91. So same thing, cross multiply. 91 D2 is equal to 90 D2, and then 90 times 0.06, which is 0.54. And therefore D2 is equal to 0.54, and that is in kilometers. So as before, we can use this formula to figure out the time. Time, therefore, would be D2, which is 0.54 kilometers over 90, and that is 0.006, and this is in hours. Multiply by 60 to get it in minutes, and you get 0.36 minutes. Multiply by 60 again to get it in seconds, and you get 21.6 seconds. So the full amount of time was the 18 seconds plus the 21 seconds. And when you add those two, you get 39.6. So that is the total time, 39.6 for number 20. The answer is A.